Welcome to my classroom. In this video, we are going to demonstrate characteristic curves of a centrifugal pump. Okay, the theory part of the centrifugal pump is explained in detail in a separate video. Please refer to the description section for the link for that video. So once you complete that, you can continue to watch this video.
So now I am going to explain the different components of the experimental setup for characteristics of a centrifugal pump. Please come close. First, this is our centrifugal pump, and the rotor blade of the centrifugal pump is run by a motor which is attached to it. Okay, so we can fix 3 speeds to the rotor blade by changing the position of this belt through these 2 pulleys. Okay. So if you change the position of this belt within the position of these 2 pulleys, you can change 3 different speeds to the rotor blade using the motor. And this can be fixed using a screw. So I can able to change the position of the rotor blade. So I can easily able to change the position of the So care must be taken that the belt has to be in tight position. Now you can able to see that the speed had been changed by changing the location of this belt within these 2 pulleys. So now coming back to the centrifugal pump. So this is your reservoir where the water will be pumped up. First is this suction line, which is the inlet for the centrifugal pump, where the liquid is sucked in. And this line is the exit line or the discharge line. Right. And the points are to be taken care that you have to measure inlet pressure via this pressure meter, which is attached to this suction line. And the pressure of the discharge will be measured through this pressure meter, which is attached to the discharge line. And another important notification is that you will find one valve at the both ends. That is, at the exit you will have an exit valve, as well as at the suction line you will have one another valve. Now we will see the step-by-step procedure how to conduct the experiment. Before starting, you have to ensure that the reservoir is filled with water. You should have a definite quantity of water so that you can conduct the experiment. We can fix the speed of the rotor blade by fixing the position of these 2 pulleys through the connecting plate. First, this belt has to be connected according to first position or second position, third position. Accordingly, the speed of the centrifugal pump rotor blade will be fixed. So another important point to be noted is that at the starting of the experiment, the valve of the exit line should be closed off. During the experiment, the water from the reservoir will be sucked in and it will be discharged to the recharge tank, storage tank. And at first you have to close this valve and you have to take how much time it is taking to fill 5 centimeter height of this tank. To fill the water 5 centimeter. and initially you have to take the inside side length and breadth of the storage tank.
Okay, first observation is to measure the dimensions of the collection tank. You can see the length and breadth. Here you can see around it is 40 centimeters internal length. We should not measure the outside one. Okay, so we have to measure the internal dimensions. So it is 40, and to measure the other side, it is little bit longer than we have a 2 feet scale. So it is more than 2 feet. So that is, it is more than 60 centimeters. So accordingly position the scale and mark the point up to 60. Then again extend the scale and see what is the dimension. I hope these are preliminary things. Okay, you know. So it is around 70 centimeters. So we will take it as 70 centimeters by 40 centimeters as the length and breadth of the collection tank. Okay. So once we have this length and breadth, it is the area, cross section area is known. So now you can measure the time taken for 5 centimeter rise. We will get the volumetric flow rate. Okay. How? Multiply the cross section area into height divided by time taken. Keeping the conveyor belt in one position, we have a particular speed of the pump. Okay, for every speed of the pump, we have to measure. We have to measure the time taken for 5 centimeter rise in this collection tank by varying the valve position. By changing the valve position, we are changing the volumetric flow rate. So to determine what is the actual discharge, we have to measure the time taken for 5 centimeter rise in this collection tank.
Now you have to, next step is to switch on the power. After switching on the power, we can able to measure the RPM of the rotor blade by connecting tachometer into the pulleys.
Have to exercise caution while using this tachometer because it will be slipping if you are not properly positioning the one end of this tachometer at the exact small hole present there. You can see that we are struggling to keep it. We have to carefully put it in their position, and we have to allow this pulley to take the reading. Okay, so once the reading comes, there is a white knob there. You have to push it to the left hand side, which will lock it. So if you pull it right side, it will open, and if you pull it to the left hand side, whatever reading is there, it will be stuck there, so that you can note it down.
We should know how much energy is consumed by the motor to rotate the rotor blade. For that, what we have to do is that we have to take time taken by this electrical meter rotor for 5 revolutions or 10 revolutions. For a specific revolution, how much time it is taking, that has to be taken. So while conducting the experiment, you have to open the valve and you have to fix the valve position so that the discharge will be at constant flow rate. This will be opening, this will be closing of the valve. So first for the given speed of the motor, you fix one flow rate by fixing the position of the valve. After fixing up the discharge flow rate, you have to measure pressure at the suction line, and you have to measure pressure at the exit line.
Once again, I will check whether.
So when you fix up this valve position, so water will be flowing at certain velocity, and that volumetric flow rate has to be measured. For that, you have to measure time taken by the flow of the fluid to reach 5 centimeter height within the settling tank. Time taken for 5 centimeter height to be filled within this storage tank. So with this data and with the cross section area of the tank, you can able to find out the volumetric flow rate of the fluid.
Now we are going to change the belt.
As explained by Dr. Raghuraj Pandian, to change the pulley from one position to another position, we have to make use of this screw, which when you move in one direction will take this motor close to the another pulley, where the pump is attached. So by moving to and fro, we can make this motor move from near and far away from the centrifugal pump. So it is easy for us to take away the conveyor belt and connect it to the two pulleys at different three positions. We have three different positions, so we have to ensure caution that it should tension free. It should not be too loose or it should not be too hard or too tough. So just you can check it that the conveyor belt is in proper position, then we can switch on the motor. Okay, once we switch on this motor, we have to note down the time taken for n revolutions in this energy meter. That is, you will have a red mark in this energy meter. We have to note down how much time it takes. You will use the stopwatch, you will keep it in 0 position. So then we will, anytime you can note down, it's not that immediately you have to note down. So be ready, 1 2, then wait for the red to come again, 3 4 5. So for each pulley position or for each speed we have to do that. So then that is the first reading. So first reading is we are noting down the time taken for 12 revolutions. So the second reading is using tachometer, we will note down the speed. Okay, for each pulley position we have a particular speed. You can note down it directly from this tachometer. You can see here it is around 150. So depending upon the position you are going to have different speed, and we are going to open the valve. So initially valve is closed when you are switching on the thing. So now we will open the valve and keep it in one volumetric flow rate, and we have to note down the time taken for 5 centimeter rise. Okay, so why we are calculating that? We are going to calculate the volumetric flow rate because we are keeping in valve position in one position. So then we have to note down the two pressure readings, that is suction pressure and delivery pressure. So totally we are noting down 5 readings. One is energy meter, where we are noting down the time taken for 5, 10 or 12 revolution. Number 2, speed using tachometer. Number 3, in the collection tank, time taken for 5 centimeter rise. And number 4, suction pipe pressure, that is pressure gauge reading. Number 5 is delivery pipe pressure, that is delivery gauge pressure. Okay, so for each set, for each position of valve we are going.
First what you have to do, fix the rotor position, right? Then using tachometer measure the speed of the rotor blade. Then to find out the energy consumption, you have to measure what is the time taken by the energy meter, 5 rotations or 10 rotations. Then you have to fix up this valve position, right? And you have to measure inlet suction pressure, outlet pressure. Then what is the volumetric flow rate by measuring what is the time required for the liquid to rise 5 centimeter height. No problem. Ready? For single rotor speed, you have to vary at least 5 different volumetric flow rates, and you have to take readings of inlet pressure, outlet pressure, then the energy consumption. And we have 3 different speeds, and every speed we have 5 different volumetric flow rates, and in total you will have 15 readings.
Now we are going to perform the experiment. So we have two faculty going to perform the experiment for you to get the readings. So all the readings are obtained by performing the experiment. So first the conveyor belt is fixed. So for that we are moving the motor towards the centrifugal pump by rotating the screw, and we keep the conveyor belt and tighten it. So once you tighten it, you have to check it whether it is neither loose nor tight. So it should be comfortable that when you rotate the belt, both should rotate. Okay, so once we are done with it, we have to check whether the water in the reservoir is full or not. So once the water is there fully, then only we have to perform the experiment. Then you check the delivery valve is closed or not. So these two are important, because before starting the pump we have to check that the reservoir tank or sump is full of water and the delivery valve is closed. Then slowly switch on the pump. So then we can note down the energy consumption for this position. So you can note down any number of rotations by time, which will give you the power consumption. So you can fix anything like 5 rotations or 10 rotations or 12 rotations. So 12 revolutions of the thread to reach the center position, you can note down the time taken in a stopwatch. So here we are noting down the time taken for some 5 or 10 revolutions. So that is the first reading. Second reading is we have to use the tachometer, and very carefully we have to keep the tachometer in this position, center part of this pump. Then you will note down the reading. Once you note down the reading, there is a push button in the above this reading meter. So you push it to the left, so the reading will be locked there, and you can note down the reading in the tachometer reading in the observation notebook. So then you slowly change the valve position to open the valve, and we are going to have a certain volumetric flow rate. When there is some volumetric flow rate, there will be a discharge pressure. So delivery pressure head can be obtained by P divided by rho G is pressure head, right? So delivery pressure head can be calculated from this pressure gauge reading in the delivery side. So you will note down the reading after it reaches a steady state. Okay, so you will note down even two readings. One is suction pressure, another one is delivery pressure. So then we have to measure the height time taken for 5 centimeter rise. So initially the tank will be open, because as we are fixing the delivery valve position and noting down the suction pressure and the delivery pressure, we are going to this tank may get filled. That's why we keep this valve open in the collection tank, so that way whatever water goes into the collection tank goes down to the sump. So once we have noted down 4 readings, that is the energy meter reading, suction pressure, delivery pressure, then tachometer reading, now we are ready to measure the time taken for 5 centimeter rise. So we will close the valve at the bottom of the collection tank, and we can wait for the water to rise. So you can fix from any level. So you can see the water is rising in the scale. So once the water rises to 10 to 15 or 6 to 11, like that, you can note down the time taken. Okay, so here we kept at this position. So 1, 2, slowly the water is rising. It has reached 2, then 3, then it reaches 4, then slowly the water is rising in this. So once it comes to 4, now it's going to come 5. Stop the stopwatch and note down the time taken. So like this, we'll note down the time taken for 5 centimeter rise. This is similar to what we have done in our other experiments. So for each position of valve, that is valve position, we note down the time taken for 5 revolutions in the energy meter reading. So if there are a number, you can fix 5, 10 or 12. Okay, so we are keeping here 5 or 10. Here I am showing it for 12 revolutions, but actually we can, once we do for 12 revolution, you can make use of 5 revolutions reading also. Okay, we summarize what we are doing in this experiment. So first step is you have to fill the sump and ensure that water is full in this reservoir before switching on the motor. So then we have to fix the pulley in the particular pulley. Conveyor belt should be tightened. Then we can switch on the motor and note down the time taken for n number of revolutions. Then you have to measure the speed using the tachometer. Take caution because it may slip. So carefully you keep the tachometer and find out the reading. So once you note down the reading, you can push that button to the left so that the reading will be locked, so that you can note down in your observation notebook carefully. Okay, so now we have taken 2 readings. Now for a fixed position, so initially we will be keeping this delivery valve closed. So now we have to open the valve and keep a position. Then we will note down the time taken for 5 centimeter rise. Okay, so how many readings we are taking? Number 1, We are noting down the time taken for 5, 10 or 12 revolutions in the energy meter, that is reading number 1. Okay, so then second reading is in the rotor, we are noting down the speed of the motor. Okay, so at what RPM it is rotating, we are noting down using a tachometer, that is reading number 2. So first we are noting down the energy meter reading. Once we note down the time taken for n number of revolutions, we move down to note down the suction pressure and delivery pressure. So you can take a photo, as these days people take that. So once we note down the suction pressure and discharge pressure, we go on to take the time taken for 5 centimeter rise. So initially we keep the collection tank valve open so that no overflow of water takes place in the collection tank. So if you want to take the reading, you slowly close the valve in the collection tank bottom. So then you can see the water is rising in this side piezometer. So now you can note down if from any centimeter, okay, it can be from 5 to 10 or 10 to 15, like that. You can note down the time taken for 5 centimeter rise. Okay, so ensure that it is at steady state. The water is rising, though if there is any air bubbles, you have to remove those air bubbles. Okay, so then you can carefully note down the time taken for 5 centimeter rise. It's not just for exactly 5 centimeter, you can take reading for 10 centimeter rise. Whatever it is h divided by time. You can fix how much time and how much either you can fix the time constant and note down how much water is rising, or you can fix the height constant, that 5 centimeter rise, then note down the time taken. So that way, either way you can note down, and this is common for all the experiments wherever we are having a collection tank and calculating the actual discharge. Okay, so here you can see that the level is changing once we are adjusting the valve. Okay, so after you have taken the reading, you can open the valve so that no overflow of water takes place in the collection tank. So for example, here we are going to start when the water is reaching the level of 10, and 10 to 15, how much is the time taken. So you can see water has reached up to 5 or something. So the moment the water level reaches this point 10 or this position of 10, I will start the stopwatch and we will see how much time it takes to cross 15 in the scale. So carefully start the stopwatch once it comes to 10. Yeah, started. So you can see the time is changing there. So the water level also increasing slowly. The moment it crosses 15, we have to stop the stopwatch. So carefully note down the reading. So why we are doing this? To substitute in the formula, cross section area into height by time will give us the actual discharge. Okay, so that way we are doing this. So like that we are going to change the valve position for each pulley position or each speed. We will keep changing the valve position 4 or 5 times, and we have to take down the reading. Okay, so how many reading we are taking? In energy meter, one reading. In tachometer we take speed, then suction pressure, then delivery pressure, then time taken for 5 centimeter rise. Okay, now we will look into the calculations part.
Dear students, now I am going to explain the observations as well as the step-by-step calculation procedure for obtaining characteristics of centrifugal pump. In the experiment, you have already measured temperature of water, which is nothing but the room temperature 25 degrees centigrade, and you already measured length of the collecting tank and the breadth of the collecting tank. In our case, length of the collecting tank is 70 centimeter and the breadth of the collecting tank is 40 centimeter. And we know that first of all, to start the experiment, we fixed our rotor position, pulleys position with the belt first speed for speed number 1. So what are the observation you have to make? First thing is, what is the time taken for the rise of water to have a rise of 5 centimeter in the collection tank? So that is our first observation. Next one is, when the water is flowing, right, when the water is pumped from the sump to the collecting tank, you should have to measure two pressures. One is suction line inlet pressure in terms of kg force per centimeter square, as well as discharge pressure in terms of kg per centimeter square. The next observation is from the energy meter. You will be taking specific number of rotations. Say for an example 5 or 10 number of rotations the energy meter, and for the specific number of revolutions of the energy meter you should know what is the time of those number of revolutions. For an example, if you are measuring it for 10 revolutions, you should know what is the time it is taken for the energy meter to have a 10 revolutions. And as you know that, so with the first speed number 1, if you fix the speed number 1, and you will have at least 5 different flow rates. So you will be varying the positions of the outlet valve. Accordingly, when you change the position of the valve, you will have different flow rates. So minimum number you are taking flow rates are 5 different flow rates. For 5 different flow rates, you will be taking 5 different observations. Totally for speed 1, you will have 25 observations. During our experiment, we fixed pulley position at first position number 1. So for that, the speed obtained was 130 rpm. For 130 rpm, we have varied position of the outline valve, and for different position of the outline valve, we measure different flow rates. Those flow rates had been tabulated in first column. So you can see from the table that the data is arranged in the order of increasing volumetric flow rate. So first flow rate is zero flow rate. So within the zero flow rate, so the given data are for suction line pressure, discharge pressure, number of energy meter revolutions, and time taken for energy meter revolution had been given. So now student have to explain one thing. So literally if there is no flow, so you should not get any pressure at suction as well as discharge. But you have found pressure for discharge line, right? And you will have some energy consumption. So you should explain why you have some discharge line pressure as well as some energy meter revolutions. So there are other 4 volumetric flow rates, so in the increasing order. So these are the times for 5 centimeter rise of water in the collecting tank. So you have to do the calculation for speed number 1 using this table. In speed number 1, we have fixed our speed 2 as 170 rpm by changing the pulley position at number 2, and we have varied the position of the outlet valve to change the volumetric flow rate. The experimentally obtained volumetric flow rate To obtain characteristics of a centrifugal pump, we need to plot the number 1, head versus discharge, number 2, input power versus discharge, number 3, efficiency versus discharge. To plot these 3 plots, we need to calculate the following. The first one is volumetric flow rate, which is nothing but the outlet discharge in meter cube per second, which is calculated from cross section area of the collecting tank into height of rise in the collecting tank divided by time taken for rise in the tank. So in our experiment, we have taken the time for rise of liquid for 5 centimeter in the collecting tank. So next one is we have to calculate the input power. So for the input power, so it is
1, 2, 3.
second we have to calculate the input power. The input power is given from this formula. So input power is nothing but number of revolutions in energy meter divided by time taken for the revolutions into 3600 divided by number of revolutions per kilowatt hour.
கிலோவாட் ஹவர்ல திருப்பி கிலோவாட் ஹவர்னு சொல்லிட்டு பேசுங்க.
So kilowatt hour, this n value is 1200.
2, 1.
So next we have to calculate efficiency. Efficiency can be obtained as a ratio of output power to the input power. So in the previous step we have already calculated the input power. So output power can be calculated from this formula, mass flow rate kg per second into head developed, that is delta H in terms of joules per kg, and it has to be divided by 1000. Okay. So as we know volumetric flow rate from the experiment, we have calculated volumetric flow rate in meter cube per second. If you multiply with density of the fluid, we can get mass flow rate. And for head developed, this is our equation, which is given as 9.8 into 10 power 4 into summation of inlet pressure, that is suction pressure, plus outlet pressure, that is the delivery pressure, divided by density of the fluid.
So previously seen all calculations related to the centrifugal pump. So now we'll try to plot the terms by using various inputs from the observation. So to know the characteristics of the centrifugal pump. So in general, what you see is at various discharges, 5 discharges, right? See how the head changes, right? One plot is how the head changes to 5 discharges. As you see, with increase in discharge, from your observations, increase discharge, so there is increase in the head, right? There is decrease in the head. So that's what observed, right? These are observed. So various discharges, you see there is a decrease in the head. So in other plot which you see, which you have to draw is from this input power, which you got from calculation, the input power with respect to discharges. So with respect to discharges, what happens to input power? If you see, even for a zero discharge also there will be some power, okay? It is some minor, some little power. So if you see the increase in discharge, the input power required is also more, right? The plot will be like this. So, and the next plot you see is efficiency versus discharge efficiency. Is discharge versus efficiency. This input per output, right? So if you see the efficiency with respect to discharge, if you see the efficiency is increases with respect to discharge to particular level, okay? So particular level, the efficiency increase, then it comes down. Efficiency comes down. This is called as critical efficiency. Called critical point, critical efficiency. So what is very important for a pump? It should have it highly efficient, right? Which are efficient power. So we try to see by plotting the overall plot from different plots. We'll try to see at this efficiency, what is the particular discharge, what is the head development, the input power required. That's what we can plot from the overall graphs. So we need to plot overall by plotting one plot is efficiency, various discharge, the efficiency, and the head and the input power. So if you see the graphs, actually we already drawn, right? So this is efficiency versus discharge and the head. This is decreased, and the input power versus discharge. So discharge input power. If you see at critical efficiency, so what can be the input power drawn and the head and what discharge. So this is a major point you should know. So where we should what type of input power for a particular discharge is taken to have a high efficiency. So like that for different RPMs which we see, right, we have taken 3 RPMs, right. So you need to plot for different RPMs, okay, this overall plot. So that is what we see, like the characteristics like from discharge versus head and discharge versus efficiency and discharge versus the input power. Based on this plot, we try to see the optimal level for the particular discharge. What is the optimum efficiency, right? Based on the efficiency, we see what is the discharge and the input power required. That will be drawn from this characteristic centrifugal pump.
So in this characteristics of the centrifugal pump experiment, we have performed the experiment first by fixing the conveyor belt in 3 positions to vary the speed of the pump. Okay, so the speed of the pump varies. To vary that, what we do, we use this screw to move the motor towards the centrifugal pump so that the conveyor belt can be positioned, and again by turning it in opposite direction we have tightened it, and it has to be fixed properly such that it is neither loose or nor too tight. Okay, so after fixing the speed, so we have to ensure that the delivery valve is closed first, and we have to take the readings in the energy meter, and we have to note down the speed in the using this tachometer. Okay, so for different valve positions, that is for different discharge positions, or that is for different volumetric flow rates, we have to measure the readings. Okay, so for you, first once we switch on the motor, we have to note down the energy requirement for a number of revolutions, for 5 or 10 or 12 revolutions, how much time it takes using the stopwatch. Okay, so note down the timing, so it will be useful to calculate the power requirement, power input power. Okay, so you can see the red mark in this reading. So you can count how much time it takes for that red position to come at that middle position. Okay, so that way we will calculate the input power. So after doing this calculation, we can move. Also in this, one more reading you can note down is what is the kWh. You can note down just for our observation sake. Okay, so that reading also you will note down. So then we will move towards the measuring the speed. Okay, that is using a tachometer you will measure the speed. Also in this you can note down the what is the revolutions per kilowatt hour. It is written 1200 revolutions per kilowatt hour. That also one of the observations which you will make use in the formula. Also you are noting down the speed using the tachometer. After measuring the energy meter readings and the speed using tachometer, so we have to note down the suction pressure in the suction pipeline and delivery pressure in the delivery pipeline. So after that we have to measure the time taken for 5 centimeter rise for each volumetric flow rate. So you can adjust this valve to have different volumetric flow rate. So for a given speed, that is for a single pulley position, we are going to have 5 readings. That's why for single position of the conveyor belt, that is for a single speed we will change the valve position at least 5 times to have 5 different volumetric flow rate, and we will note out the time taken for 5 centimeter rise in the collection tank, which will be used to calculate the volumetric flow rate. Okay, after taking the readings for different volumetric flow rates for each speed of the pump, we can plot the characteristics curves. After calculating what is the input power, what is the efficiency, what is the head developed, all that we can plot head versus discharge, efficiency versus discharge, and input power versus discharge. Okay, so why we are plotting this curve? So we are plotting this curve to know the, if we have a pump with a particular capacity, we will be able to identify at what condition, if I keep the operating parameters, this pump is operating at an economic conditions. So to know the optimum working conditions, we plot this characteristic curve. Okay, for a given pump, the characteristics curve are going to be the same. Okay, so for a given speed. Okay, so for each speed you can have a characteristic curve. Okay, so thereby you come to know the efficiency, optimum efficiency. Okay. In next video we will meet you with another video on experiments in fluid particle mechanics laboratory. Thank you so much for joining my classroom. Bye bye.